What's the acreage?
We're down to probably under 1,000 acres now.
What was it?
It's probably 1150 at one time.
Okay.
We just lost another field to the gravel pit down here and
Hmm.
one across the road. And we're going to lose some at Jay's Acres when this road goes through.
Right.
How much that's going to affect the whole operation in the time that takes to get the road put in,
Hmm.
fence back up, and what we'll be able to do out there, I don't know.
Right.
It's yet to be seen.
Hmm. So how much of it's gone into the gravel pit at this point?
Probably close to 100 acres has actually been dug.
Hmm.
And, of course, we still rent clops across the road and some off the gravel pit yet.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it.
Now you say, like the way you say it, you're talking about losing it to them. Is this like through some kind of eminent domain, or is this planned?
On the road or the gravel pit?
The gravel pit stuff.
No. They bought the farm. All but maybe 400 acres of it.
The down here.
Right.
Okay.
And they bought the land. We kept the mineral rights.
Okay.
I leased the land from them. They pay us for the mineral rights as they dig the gravel. We
Okay.
get so much a ton on what they do.
Right.
And they dug that down next to the river and this across the road.
Okay.
Things are pretty much at a standstill now because nothing's going on.
Right.
They're selling gravel one day a week
Ooh.
right now. It's not, and they don't even think they're going to start to plant up and make any material this year. They've got such a stockpile over there, they think they have enough to run them for a year unless something drastic changes.
Right. Wow. And that's just because of the building freezing of the economy.
This is mostly concrete material down here, sand and gravel.
Hmm.
And if they're not building roads, if they're not putting in basements for houses and doing stuff, they don't need it.
Right.
There's other gravel pits around too, and everybody's lost a certain share.
Right. I know when the gravel pit was first starting to expand and stuff, like it seemed like people in the town were not happy.
To expand, or when it was first starting?
Well, when it was starting to expand and come onto your property, I feel like there was some tension.
I can't say I was real happy about it either, but
Right.
as it turned out, I guess as I get older, I guess I need less to do.
Right. So you weren't happy with it. So then was it
I wasn't happy
family,
with it, especially
like
when it started.
So was it then sort of decided by the brothers as a group that would happen?
Go with the gravel pit?
Yeah.
I guess like everything else, money talks.
Right.
So,
Right.
so we just have to work with them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Of course, since I'm the only one interested, they're interested in the money. It's
Right.
a gravel pit. So
Right.
I just kind of have to go along with it.
Like across from the cemetery,
Okay.
also right there, like basically there's a perimeter around the part that's to the
berms.
right of Vesper Lane.
The berms they built.
Yeah, the berms they build. What all purposes did those serve? I feel like there's more than one reason for those.
One is they don't want people to see what you're doing.
Right.
The second is that's supposed to be for reclamation. When they get ready, if they get done digging or shut down, they're supposed to go in and slope those steep banks and things. And that's supposed to be material available there for reclamation.
Huh. So to be just pushed back into where they've been digging?
So they can, yeah, and like I say, slope the banks and things so they can seed them and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
But the way they get around that is, as long as they leave one piece of equipment there, they can say they're still an active mine, and therefore they don't have to go into it. They don't have to do all that. That's just like people said, if they're digging out 1 million tons a year, won't they go back and fill that hole back in when they get done? Well, where are you going to get 1,000,000 tons to put the?
Right.
Oh, you can just push that hillside down in there and fill it up. Like it's a kid with a shovel in a sandbox. You can fill it up. That would cost millions and millions. Plus, they'd have to own all that to do
Right.
It's the berms are supposed. Well, one thing is part of them being there is they've got to have a place to stockpile all that overburden for one thing.
What's overburden?
What's above the gravel that they can't use.
Right.
Plus, for us, they have to do that first to uncover the gravel. Well, they uncovered this big place, but they piled up what's under the berm. They can't dig then, so that material's lost.
All right.
I mean, some places they can dig it and then go back and, but they've got to have some place to store all that material. There's like, I think they said 400,000 cubic yards in that berm there along 20. You know. And,
Yeah, that's an impressive wall.
yeah, if you go up on top, you can see a long way.
Yeah.
But they, and that was a big problem, where to store that.
Right.
They made the first portion of it. They built it, and then when they stripped the next place, they had to go up higher because they wanted to take it out along the hill and pile it out there.
Right.
And I really didn't want them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big problem to go with all that to store it. So, but it's something has to got off and done something with it. They wouldn't let them run it back across the road and fill in the hole over where they've always had to stay there.
Is that like government mandate, state policy? What is?
I don't know if it's federal, state, or both.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've got people watching them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. OSHA for safety things, and
Right.
the state for. And like I said, supposedly all that was supposed to be reclaimed when they got done.
Have any of the pits that have been here since we've been here ever set into that phase of reclamation?
Well, I don't know if Martin Marietta still owns that one at the end of 20 down there. It's never been reclaimed.
Right.
You know, it's just sitting there.
Nothing happened. They don't do anything there anymore, do they?
No, it's not.
One of the things that's interesting to me is we talked a little bit about this. Like when I started out this thing, like I sort of had this vision of what it was going to be about, and then it was going to be this like farmer, good guy, gravel pit, bad guy sort of thing. Because the way I was perceiving it from the outside was this idea of the gravel pit sort of slowly taking over the farm and the farm disappearing. But it seems like, as I've been doing this and sort of talking to you, for one thing, it seems like you have a good relationship with people at the gravel pit.
Right.
And it's a little bit, and it's more complex and complicated than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there can only be a gravel pit where there's gravel. You can't just start a gravel pit anywhere. So that's why I tell people. They say, why you want that? Right? Well, it's either a blessing or a curse, depending on which way you look at it. You know, if it's a curse, it's tearing up all the ground, making a mess. It's a blessing, it generates some income, and you know they've got to have the material, just not as much right now as they have in the past. They're not needing it as fast. I'm sure the housing and the road building will come back eventually.